Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Matt.
I'm Megan.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Aunt Becky.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Julius.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys. And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It is so nice to see you. We got a beautiful day on our hands, a little cooler than what we've been dealing with the past few days. I mean, there's lots of clouds in the sky, but for this time of the year, yeah, we're pretty used to that. We have already got the farm market all set up here and we're just about ready to open. We are still waiting on Dad to get back from the wholesaler with a few things that we need. Cooler doesn't look too empty. For this time of the year, there's never as much as in summer. But the few things that we do need, Dad is on his way back with them already. And here inside the kitchen, Grammy has gone into like full fruitcake mode. Look at all that. Grammy mixes all of her own fruitcake ingredients. We get them shipped in bulk. And let me tell you, it's fruitcakey around here. Not only is Grammy making fruitcake, but Matthew's working on something cool. He's making buckwheat pancakes, but the recipes he's using is our great-great-grandfather's recipe. So that is something that's pretty neat. This recipe is definitely over 100 years old, and if you've never had buckwheat pancakes, well, they're good. Not as good as like buttermilk pancakes, but they're good. But it's still cool to get the old recipes out every once in a while and make some of the stuff that your great-grandparents used to make. Let's see what Dad picked up this morning. Ooh, we got a few different things here. Some lettuce, tomatoes, peppers. There's more here than I thought there was gonna be. But that's a good thing, that means we're busy. Dad is pulling in his last pallet, so they're working on unloading the last few things from the pickup that Dad had this morning. Currently down around back, we were working on drying some corn in our bin, and since it's a little cooler, there's something neat happening with the bin. Oh yeah, she is steamy. You can see that moisture coming right out of the corn. We have our heat source and then our giant fan blowing the heat source into a false floor, and that false floor helps us to force the air up through all the corn. We also have an auger that is spinning around, pulling the dry corn to the top so that we can get a nice even drying of all the corn. Now that hot air is being pushed in and we can see we got moisture coming out the top of the bin, we got hot air coming out the top of the bin, so that's a good sign. Sometimes you really can't see it if it's not cold enough. Usually we're not drying corn this late into the year, but every once in a while you get to see it look like that, and I think it looks really cool. I better head up and help them get done here so we can move down around back and onto other chores. I was making my way down to start taking care of the animals, and there is 4 full baskets of eggs. So first thing on the list, grate some eggs. Now what's really neat is as I'm putting these eggs on this little conveyor, there's a light that shines underneath, which is doing something called candling, and it allows me to see if there's any cracks in the eggs or any other problems that we need to be on the lookout for. We were able to get 2 baskets of eggs grated, which was good enough for a full box and some extra. While I was working on this, Daniel got the skid steer loader pulled out and warmed up, and it sounds like he's out feeding cattle. The skid steer loader is still sitting there, so that looks like that's about as far as he's gotten. We're trying not to be wasteful with our resources, so every morning before we feed, we come over to look and see how much silage they need in their feeders. And to be completely honest with you, they need quite a bit this morning, so we're gonna run up and grab it. I forgot my gloves this morning. My hands are cold. All of the silage is now in the feeders. Matthew is working on dumping in the grain, and it looks like all of the cattle are out to pasture. I don't think you can see them, but they're all the way right out there. Hey, if they're out on pasture, we'll take it, because the more that they're out on pasture means they're eating grass, out there enjoying themselves. That's what we like to see. Good morning, good morning. How you doing? How you doing? It had been on the colder side for about a week and a half, and then it warmed up, which is what we were dealing with recently when it comes to weather. So the ground is no longer frozen, which makes things sloppy. I prefer when it's frozen. Our temperatures are gonna be dropping again, so it'll get colder, it'll freeze. I don't like when everything's sloppy. It's been raining, it's been on the warmer side, but that's this time of the year in Northeast Pennsylvania. You never know what you're gonna get. Now, because it's been so sloppy, yesterday we went through and bed up all the cattle. You can see the pens in here are looking really nice. And not only are the pens looking nice, look at these calves. Gorgeous. We've got these calves all together, and then here in the back, we've got 4 calves. These all look good. These are from the local dairy. Thankfully, everybody has been healthy. That's something you really are concerned with when it's wet and sloppy like this. The dairy farmer, Jeff, where we get all our calves from, has assured us that he's got a lot coming. So that's pretty exciting. Not only do we have those 4 in the back, but we also have this guy. He just came yesterday, and he is a big, big boy. Look at that. Good morning. Number 52 here. That is a big boy.
Yeah, he's only about, I think he's 12 weeks old.
12 weeks old. Do you remember when I was 12 weeks old? Was I that big?
You were almost 200 pounds at 12 weeks.
That's like pretty darn close.
I don't know if that's true. That babies have changed a lot then.
And 59 yesterday got behind the boards back here and got between the 2 layers of plastic and got stuck in the greenhouse all the way up here. We had to cut her out yesterday.
Look at that. You were causing issues yesterday. We still need to get eggs collected this morning, so I'm running over to take care of that. Matthew said he's gonna get started on bagging potatoes though. The amount of potatoes we need throughout the week always changes. We do have orders for about 35 bags. Now some of that order is for later on in the week, but it's always good to have plenty of potatoes around in case a restaurant shows up and says, hey, I need 250 pounds, I need 500 pounds, we have it available. You really start to appreciate how much food restaurants go through when you sell it to them. Especially with potatoes. Everybody uses potatoes. You got baked potatoes, you got mashed potatoes, fries. There's all different types of fries, you know. And chips, a lot of people make chips around here. It's cool. And one of my favorite things to do is go to these restaurants and eat my potatoes. I just got my first basket of eggs pulled out of these nests, so I'm gonna hop in the back with Dad and help him get the rest of the chicken eggs collected. I'm with Matthew here in the potato storage. He's been bagging up potatoes. So far, he's got a few bags done. They just need to be weighed and sewn. The thing is, we have 10 tens ordered, and we also need tens for just us up in the farm market. You also heard me talking about the larger orders that we need. We're gonna have to get working on those as well. But before we can do that, we're gonna have to wash potatoes. Don't know if we're gonna get to that this morning. Once we get all the tens bagged up, we do need to run out and pick some cabbage. So I'm gonna help Matthew get these potatoes taken care of. For the 10-pound bags, we try not to put the really large potatoes in there because we don't want the bag of potatoes to only have a few in there. So we would prefer picking up some of the smaller ones. Try and make sure there's a good variety inside the bag, so whoever takes the bag doesn't just get like 5 potatoes, but can get a lot more. That one's a little heavy. What do we got? Am I too heavy? Oh, I'm 1.5 pounds over. Daniel is sewing up our last bag of 10s, and for now we've got all the potatoes bagged that we needed. Altogether, we're gonna have 20 bags on this pallet to take up. 10 for that one order, and then we also bagged up a few just for us. That way, we have plenty of potatoes. If the girls need them, they're there. Normally on a day like today, we would close up the doors now that we're finished, but Daniel's gonna be going in and out with the skid steer loader. He's moving stuff around. I believe we're gonna be washing potatoes later on, either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. There's gonna be potatoes washed. So Daniel's getting everything moved around and put into place. Matthew and I are gonna get these potatoes unloaded, then we have to run out and grab an order for cabbage. I know you're thinking, you're still picking cabbage? Yeah, we're still picking cabbage. Just got all the potatoes moved into the farm market. Matthew is grabbing a few boxes. How many boxes do we need? Three? Okay, I'll help you. So we're gonna get these 3 boxes loaded onto the truck. And then the only thing that we're missing is the knives, and that's in the side-by-side at my house. Normally I bring the side-by-side to work in the morning, but it's got a flat tire and I don't have any plugs. So that's something I gotta pick up. Like I said before, Daniel is down around back. He's moving that stuff around. Now, Dad is up in the house. He is with some seed customers. At this point in the year for selling seed, there's a few deals going on. So Dad's trying to get all of the farmers he can taken care of so everybody gets a cheaper price. Something we try and do. Not everybody always has the free time to do it, but if we can get some people on these deals, well, we're gonna try. Let's see here. Okay, that's not what I need. Oh, I don't know where the other knife is. We're just driving through the field trying to find a nice area where we can pick the cabbage. We need smaller heads, which at this point in the year is kind of a big ask, but we're still gonna look around and see what we can find. The cabbage is nice. There are certain areas where it is not nice. We're gonna try and stay away from there. But if we can't find a nice area, we'll just do some walking around. And if the cabbage doesn't look good, we'll have to clean it up and make it look nice. We got some cabbages right here. They look good from the road, but when I walked over, you see how soft that is? That is not ideal. Soft, yeah, we don't want this. It's not that the cabbage is bad there. It just needs time to harden up. It's not done growing. With the cold temperatures we have, it may never finish growing, which is unfortunate. But it's okay, that's farming. We're walking down to the latest varieties of cabbage that we have. This field, we've just about picked everything. That's always fun when you pick everything. But right about here, oh yeah, I found some there's some smaller heads that we're gonna be able to use. Cabbage isn't too frozen. That's nice. It makes cutting it a lot easier when the cabbage is not froze. I'm trying to do my best to find smaller heads of cabbages. You'd think that's easier than it actually is. These later varieties are actually supposed to get pretty large, and well, they have. This cabbage was on the frozen side. I can feel it. It's heavy, it's firm, but it's more than just a regular firm. That thing is frozen. The nice thing about cabbage is even if it freezes, it's not ruined. The cabbage is pretty hardy. Now, if you got multiple freezes, that's where an issue could start to form, but it hasn't been too bad around here. See, this is what we don't want to see. Those leaves are yellowing, so what we'll do is just clean that up a little bit. Take that top leaf off. There we go, much better. I think that is all we need. We got this box full, this box right here, and then there's another box up there. Matt is running back to grab the truck. The only concern we're gonna have is lifting up these boxes. Because the cabbage is heavy, it does have a tendency to try and fall out the bottom. And these boxes, although being cabbage boxes, they wear down pretty easily. And we've used these boxes quite a bit. There is a high chance the cabbage just go boop, but we're gonna try and hold underneath while we lift. Even though it is chilly today, I'll tell you what, it is gorgeous out. We got a beautiful view. I wonder what we're gonna be planting here next year. Dad's probably been thinking about it. Could be tomatoes, peppers, I don't know. This is a good spot for anything. It's close enough to irrigate out of, which we had to do plenty this year. It's also close to the farm. So if we need to get back here quick for something, it's pretty easy. Sometimes we don't know what we're gonna be planting in certain spots until the year comes. I know we're not putting peppers back over there because of the Phytophthora. So Phytophthora, whatever it is. And then we're not gonna put anything there that'll be affected by that as well. That root rot, that was a pain in the butt this year. Hopefully we don't run into any more problems with that. But with farming, if we don't run into that problem, we'll run into a different problem. That's the way it always seems to work out. If you don't have one issue, if it's not dry, it's wet. It's not wet, it's dry. If you don't have insect damage, you have disease. You don't have disease, the pests are bothering you. Man, I tell you what, if this was easy, everybody would do it. But now I'm starting to see why everybody doesn't do it. But even with all the things that can go wrong, I wouldn't want to do any other job. I enjoy farming. Cabbage is all loaded up. My fingers are cold. Sounds like a good time to head back to the farm. Now that we've got the cabbage back at the farm, all we need to do is bring out the potatoes, and then Matt can make that delivery. Getting everything delivered is gonna be one less job for us to worry about today. And we like one less job to worry about. We only want 10 bags on this pallet, so we're gonna have to pull off a few. Not only have we been busy outside, we've been busy inside too. Julius, how's the day going?
Going good.
What are you working on?
Working on big giant butter.
It looks like while Matt and I were gone, Daniel was moving some things around. He got a bin of red potatoes out to be washed. He moved the sprayer into the back, and it looks like he got started on bagging white potatoes. Let's see, he's got 3, almost 450s done. It is getting pretty close to lunch. We got about 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna help him get some of these potatoes bagged, and then it'll be lunchtime. And that wraps it up. We've got a few 50s of white, we got a few 50s of red, and we also got some 10s of red bagged up. That should hold us over for today into tomorrow. We're gonna need to bag more potatoes, but before we can do that, we gotta wash some. And we're gonna work on washing potatoes after lunch because, well, we gotta eat. Alrighty, for lunch today, it looks like we got a little bit of pizza, we got some sandwiches, and we got some nacho dip. What? Sounds good to me. All finished with lunch. Now we're getting a bin loaded onto the back of the truck because we need to get cabbage. Oh my word, is Dad yelling? What's he yelling about?
No knives. No knives to cut cabbage.
I'll have you know, we've got 2 knives in there to cut cabbage.
Yeah, well, my son took my side-by-side to his house, pokes a hole in the tire, and then leaves it
That's
there.
my side-by-side.
Slashed his own
And I
tire.
didn't mean to poke a hole in the tire. You ever seen a truck this full?
And I gave Raleigh the
Look at that. Matthew, I feel like I was just here.
Why would you say that?
No. What's wrong with the cabbage, Dad?
It's frozen.
Yeah, it's cold out. We are looking to get a bin of cabbage. That way we have plenty for the days and weeks that are coming up. We're worried cabbage is gonna go bad if we just leave it out here. It is frozen solid. That's some frozen cabbage. These leaves are actually frozen on top. That is so cool. Frozen cabbage tastes the best. Now, a lot of people actually look for frozen cabbage because when the cabbage freezes, it causes the sugars in the cabbage to concentrate from the moisture leaving, and that makes for a much sweeter cabbage. And this is the type of cabbage, and this is the time of year when people love making sauerkraut. This stuff is delicious. On top of the cabbage, in some areas, we are starting to see crow damage. Now, I don't know if that's because there's nothing else to eat. Seeing little holes pecked right in the top of some of these cabbages. It doesn't ruin the cabbage, it's just that outside leaf. They might need to trim it up. There's a little baby cabbage.
Cabbage is cabbage, Andrew.
Oh. There we go. And that's about it for the day. We got a nice bin full of cabbage. As a father of a young lady, this is when I'd say the cold never bothered me anyway. However, the cold is bothering me. I got gloves on and fingers are cold. The problem with cabbage is no matter what time of year, what you're doing, it's always wet, and that wet is cold wet today. So the gloves, feeling a little cold. Dad's gloves are falling off.
My finger's frozen broke. They don't work anymore.
I think if you...
Oh.
that should about do it for picking today. This is the only thing we have left really to harvest on the farm. Cabbage and kale. We're not picking much kale. People like the cabbage. At least I'm sure we'll stay nice and warm in the truck. Ah, stop it! Alrighty, everyone. I am now home after we got finished with cutting that second round of cabbage. We really didn't have too much going on. It was cold. The temperature was dropping. So everybody just kind of hung out in the farm market. But now that I am home, I am just helping Callie out, helping Mommy out, Lauren, with some things that need to be done around the house. And since I'm home, that means this is where we're gonna end the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!